With over 2,000 people now actually using RenderZero AI Studio, I wanted to create an in-depth walkthrough tutorial on every single feature that is going in this app. And it's a mammoth of a video, so I'm afraid it's a bit daunting to look at, but it's worth it. Every feature for image generation is explained here for you to check out now. So you're going to download the app. You're going to click on it. It's going to start installing, but you're going to get this notification where it says RenderZero not opened, and then you're going to actually click on Done to dismiss this. Then go to your Apple icon, System Settings, scroll down to Privacy and Security, scroll down again, and you'll see this section here where it says RenderZero Studio was blocked to protect your Mac. You're going to click on Open Anyway, and then click on Open Anyway again. Put in your password, press OK, and now the app will open. Click on New Project. It's going to ask for permission then to create a folder. You can allow it. That's your project folders it's creating. Then you'll get into the app and you connect your API key the same way as everybody else. And then you can get generating. So once you've downloaded it, you'll get this Windows Protected Your PC screen. More info, and then you're going to click on Run Anyway. That's going to then start the installer and install it on your system. Then all you need to do is go ahead and start New Project, give it a name, and once you're in, you're going to start by connecting your API key. Click here. There are currently 5. There will be more. You don't have to have all of them set up, but you will need at least one of them in order to generate your images inside of the app. The first one that most people start with is Google AI Studio. If you create a new account with Google AI Studio, you should get $300 of free credits to use. So to do that, you click on Get Your API Key. It'll open a new tab for you. If you already have an account, it'll just ask you to verify. Otherwise, it'll ask you to sign in. We can do this with a different email just to show you. Click Next. And it should load you into the API keys section of their website. If it doesn't, for whatever reason, do that, you can search for Google AI Studio. It will probably load you in on the home page. So go down to Get API Key. And here is where you set one up. In this section, you may already have a default key already there. If you don't, go to Create API Key. You can name the key. You can assign it to a project. We'll just create that. What you'll see is it'll say Set Up Billing on Free Tier. The app does not work with the free tier API key. If you set up billing and it's your first time setting up an account here, you should get $300 of free credits. So you go to Setup Billing, just go ahead and agree and continue. Here's where you need to add in your payment information. I won't show you this, but you fill out your address. Then you need to set up a payment method, and you'll see that it's all ready to go, and we can start free. You'll have to verify. Once you've verified, you have to do a £10 prepayment. Then you receive your free trial credits. So once you're here in your overview, you've got your free trial credit. You want to activate that. Your full account was activated successfully. You're all set to access Google Cloud, paying only for what you use. And then continue. We are now ready to go. Now you can also, before you get going, is set up a budget alert. So this will stop you overspending. You just press create and it's giving you a monthly budget. 50 is probably a bit too low, but I've got it set now. If you hit that budget limit, it's fine. You can come in here and increase the budget. Go back to here, create your API key. You'll find that your key no longer says free. It now says tier 1. You click the copy button, close this window, and all you do is paste it into this box here. Save the key, and you'll see that Google AI Studio is now ready. So you've got the options now to generate some images, and there's limited options in terms of video, but with the Google AI Studio, you've got Google Veo 3.1. The next API that we can set up is Kie AI. Again, click Kie, scroll down, and there's a link to the website. Now, I've already got a sign up, so if you click that, it's very easy and quick. Otherwise, you'll need to create a new account. So click sign up now. Choose the account that you're going to sign up with. It's going to ask for access. You allow that. Prove you're human. And you should then load directly into the API key page. If you aren't in this page, you can access it, go into settings, go into market, then down to API keys. Then all you have to do is create your new API key, give it a name, press create, copy it, don't let anybody else see it, close this window, and paste that in here. Save that key. Now, in order to generate using those APIs, you're going to need some credit. Google AI Studio will bill you as and when you use it. Kie, Fal, Wavespeed, and RunningHub, however, require for you to actually top up your account with some money for it to be able to generate. In the latest version of the app, there is a link to the top-up pages for all these API providers in that box. Go billing, and here you can choose what you want to top up your credits by. Set up your payment and pay for your credits. They'll be added to the account, and you can get on with generating inside RenderZero. The next one to do is Fal AI. We'll click that, go down to get your API key. It'll take you to the login page. If you don't have an account already, then you'll need to sign up. It's going to require you to sign up for GitHub to use Fal. So you can do that again here or sign in with Google. And once you're signed up, you'll probably come to the dashboard. From here, to get your API key, click here in the top corner, go to API keys, and here you'll be able to add a key. Just press add key, type in here the description of what the key is for, and create the key. It's going to show your key at the bottom there. Do not share this with anybody. And then press copy key. Now you can go back to the settings and you can paste that in. Press save key. Now we just need to top up the account. So we go back into the settings, down to manage billing. This should load you straight up into the credit section. Here you can set up your billing address and add credits. And then you're ready to go. The next one we are going to install is going to be Wavespeed AI. So again, click here to go to the login, go to sign in. You can do it with Google or with GitHub. It's going to ask for access to your Google account. You're going to give that to it. You need to follow the instructions here. So you're going to create an account. We've done that. And add some credits. Add those in here, put in our payment method, and that tops it all up. Then we just click here, go to API keys, give it a name, create the key. It's going to create the key there, which you're going to copy. You're going to close this. Paste it in, save your key, you're ready to go. And if you want to top it up again at some point, just go here to manage billing. It's going to take you straight to the top up page. Alright, so now the last one, RunningHub. This one is a little bit more of a hassle. So we're going to go click on this. It's going to ask you to sign in. And you'll go and sign in via Google. Now, in order to get the API key access here, you do have to have a subscription. So this is the only one on the system where there is a subscription. And the reason why I've added this in is because it has the cheapest Nano Banana Pro I've ever seen. So even with the subscription, it works out to be really, really affordable. But you can see that there is a limit on concurrent tasks with this one. So if you have personal, you can only do one task at a time. With personal plus, it's 3. So I would go with personal just because I don't use it that much. And that's $9.90 a month. So you subscribe to that. And once you've subscribed, you can go to the API console. You then want to go to Enterprise Shared. And you're going to create a shared API key here, which you'll copy. And you'll close all of this. You'll paste that in. And then you're ready to go. And you'll have very, very cheap Nano Banana Pro. You will need to top up the account. So again, click there to manage billing and credits, and you just add on credits here in this page. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to set up a project. So when you load the application, the first screen you'll have is this home screen here, where you can set up a new project, open a project by browsing for the NB project file, or you can open one of your most recent projects here. To start a new project, we just click the new project button, we give it a name, we click on the tick box, and now we are in our new project. And this is the main UI for RenderZero Studio. Once we've made changes, it will auto-save, but if you want to save it anyway, you can go here to File, and just click the Save button, or Save As if you want to save it as a new project. Along the top we have a couple of options. Clear All removes all of the selected options on the screen. Presets gives you a list of preset combinations of options that you can activate just by pressing a button. Gallery will open the autosave folder for all of your generations. This is set by default. Render queue is where all of your images and videos go while they're queuing for generation. And then, as you saw in the previous section of the tutorial, this is where you can set the API provider that you're using for the image generation part of the app. When you create a new project, it's always best practice to go to File, Settings, and to set a gallery location. Here you can now create a new folder for this particular project or scene. We just select it, press Select Folder. Now the gallery location has been updated to that location. So all of our images and videos will save to that folder. This is very useful if you're working on different scenes for a project as well. So we've got this set up in a way that you can follow the steps to build your prompt. And as you fill these in, you will see that reflected here in the constructed prompt box. Let's generate our first image, and in doing so, I can show you all of the options that you can choose from. So we start with our subject and framing. So this is literally the person or characters we're talking about, and then what they are actually doing. So let's do something quite dramatic and cinematic for this one. We'll go for a man dressed in a suit, ready with two guns in hand. He is fighting his way through a modern nightclub. Place him at the far right edge of the frame. Beneath that, we have the option to choose the shot type angle, and you'll see that there are 25 options that Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana 2 are able to understand. And we go from worm's eye view, wide shot, low angle shot, establishing shot, cutaway, close up. They're all here. But if we want something dynamic and action packed, let's go with a Dutch angle. Once you've chosen a shot type, you can choose a viewing direction. This is optional, but you can say from the front, from the back, from the left or the right, and that will try to guide the generation to place the character in a certain orientation. Now beneath this is an option here for subject unaware of camera. You don't always need to use this, but it's a prompt helper. Sometimes I've found that certain prompts will generate images where the character is looking directly at camera, and if you're trying to do something cinematic, that's not what you're after. So if you look here, when you click this, you'll see it reflected over here. It just adds in a prompt helper to say where the subject is unaware they are on camera. And it helps to guide the AI so that it won't have the person that you're describing looking directly into the lens. Next, we can describe the environment in more detail here. A modern nightclub with neon lighting and high-end furniture. And again, you see it's reflected in our constructed prompt. Now we can go to section 2, which is lighting and mood. So we can choose lighting source. And again, there's 43 options here. And there's a wide range of them, from backlighting and rim light, blue hour lighting, all the way through to something like top lighting or top-down flat lay, which is really nice diffuse lighting for UGC and product shots. That for the UGC crowd, there's quite a few here that work really well, like softbox key lighting, ring light, rim and soft fill is a perfect one, and product side key as well. And obviously for those who want something cinematic, there are lots and lots of options for that. So we can choose our lighting, and I'm going to go with hard lighting, and all of these have nice example images of how that lighting will affect your image. So we go with hard lighting. Then below we can add in additionally a bit about the atmosphere and mood of the shot if we want to. Remember, all of these are optional. You could just generate using literally the subject and action box. But all of these help to craft the image in the way that you want it. So we've just added there moody, cinematic and gritty. Next is section 3, where we can choose camera gear. We can choose a camera type. If you want something modern, you could go with the Arri Alexa 65, the Sony FX6, or the Red Digital Cinema camera. If you wanted something more photography based, there's the Hasselblad X1D. You've got the Canon AE1. If you want something a bit more low-mo, then you've got the Diana F+, the Kodak Brownie, the compact camera. And if you're doing something like a UGC video, well, you've got plenty of options there too. So you've got iPhone Pro, old Android phone, security camera, and webcam, which works really well too. This is a modern film, so this is probably on the Sony Venice. You can choose focal length. You can even add characteristics to the lens. So is it an anamorphic cinema lens? Has it got the swirly bokeh of a Helios 44-2 or a Petzval portrait lens? Is it tilt shift lens or soft focus? You've got these options here to add a little bit more character to your lenses. And then finally on this section here, we've got film stock. So 30 options here if you wanted to give it the look of a specific type of film. One thing I will say as a tip is if you overload your prompt with too many options, what will happen is the model will start to selectively dismiss parts. It'll go, well, you've said it's a Sony Venice, but also you've described a film stock. Which one am I meant to use? Because Sony Venice is a digital camera. It doesn't use film stock. So it might find that it will drop things off depending on how you combine them, or if you have too many things in there. So I do find that actually having just a couple of options is probably better than overloading it with different choices. Beneath that, you've then got the aspect ratio for the image. If we wanted it really cinematic, you could go to 21:9. Now bear in mind, not all video models will generate a video in 21:9, but we can generate that as an image. So then we're in section 4, style and aesthetics. Now you can actually adjust the temperature for Nano Banana Pro of whether it's creative or more focused on your prompt. And so you can change this to get different results. Then beneath that, if you wanted to and you weren't too bothered about these prompts here, you could actually take some of these out and you could just choose a photographer style. There's 99 to choose from. As you can see, lots of different styles here, and the model does understand these styles and is able to recreate your image in those styles. So you can select one of these instead as a sort of preset. The same goes for movie look aesthetics as well, where you can actually choose a film look for your image and it will actually do its best to recreate those. Though Nano Banana tends to be a bit more censorious than the other models out there, so it might block some of these. I know that, for example, Star Wars, if we try that one with Google Nano Banana, it does actually block it a lot. However, remember, you can use this app with Grok Imagine and Seedream as well, and those models work very well with these film prompts. Then beneath that, you've got filters and effects, and you can actually stack these, so you can add chromatic aberration, maybe you want CRT scan lines in it, or some glitching or grunge. One that works nicely is film grain, and also if you want to get an image that looks really crisp and very modern film and cinema, you can go here and you can choose HDR tone mapping. That really does sharpen the image up a lot. In section 5 we have the elements tool. I will show you that separately later in the tutorial, but this is where you can import characters with outfits, up to 4 characters. You can also import images in order to edit them or to use them as a style reference. And below that, if you don't want characters, say you want to just create images of a product or you just want images of a car, we have this free choice reference image section here, which just lets you add images without any tags attached to them. So you can add several images here of a product, for example, and reference it in the prompt above. Again, we'll look at those a bit later on. The same for generate and edit, and also narrative angle prompting. We'll look at those a bit later on when we talk about this section. So now we're back to the top and we've got our constructed prompt. You can see there it's reflected all of those changes and decisions we've made here. What you can do if you want to is you can actually save all of this as your own preset. So click Save Preset, give it a name, and we'll call it Action Movie. We'll maybe put a number on there, Action Movie 1. We save that preset. Now we can always just load that preset. Edit, which actually lets us fine-tune that prompt at the very end. Just be aware though that if you change anything here, if you say for example change this to say the far left edge on the frame and click done, it will now not reflect what you've got here. So if you change anything else in here, that will not go here. Once you edit this locks it to whatever you edit in here. So just be aware of that, and that's just because otherwise the structure of your prompt ends up getting ruined by changing options with an edit in place. But you can always go to the edit button and press reset to remove the changes to take it back to how it was. And of course, the other thing you can do is copy your prompt and use it elsewhere, which I will show you also in this tutorial a bit later. Right, so we've got our prompt constructed. We've looked at how all these options work. Now we can choose the model. So right now this API we are selected with is RunningHub, so it only has Nano Banana Pro. I will add some more soon. But if you want a lot of choice, you would want to use something like Kie or Fal or Wavespeed. So let's go with Kie AI. We just select that here. Now you'll see we've got Nano Banana Pro, Nano Banana 2, Seedream 4.5 and Grok Imagine as options. And we'll choose Nano Banana Pro. Go to resolution, we can change that to 1, 2 or 4K. And you'll see as well that it reflects the price of that image just here beneath, estimated 9 cents. We can change that to 2K and it'll stay at 9 cents, but if you go to 4K, it jumps up to 12 cents. Let's go with 2K and we will queue that image. Now we don't have to wait around to get on with our next one, because what's happened is that the image is now in this tab here, render queue, and under images, and it's going to queue and generate while we get on with other stuff inside of the app. So while it's doing that, let's also try Seedream 4.5 and Grok Imagine. When a model doesn't have an option, it will grey that out. And Grok Imagine, as an example, has a specific resolution it generates at. Oh, we've already got some images coming through. Let's cue the next one. And you saw there that a couple switched by very quickly. So, to see what we generated so far, go back to render queue, and all we have to do is click on the view button. You'll notice that Grok Imagine automatically switched the resolution to 1:1, and you'll be like, well, why did it do that? This is what I was saying earlier about some of these aspect ratios. You'll see here that Grok does not support 21:9, which is why it was a bit weird there. So we will switch it to 16:9 and regenerate that one. So we'll queue that again. Now if we have a look at our renders while Grok is working, we can click view, and here we can see our results. This one is the Nano Banana Pro, and it looks very cinematic. You've got chaos, people lying on the floor. It looks like a film still. You can see that the image is automatically updated to the latest generation. So when we look at render queue, you'll see it highlights that this image here that's showing is the Grok Imagine one. Now that's a little bit better than that 1:1 version that it's got, but it's done an alright job. Let's go back to our Nano Banana Pro one. So like I said, that's very cinematic. Seedream. Now this is interesting, isn't it? Seedream has gone for John Wick straight away. And actually a really cool image. Got flickers of flames. It's not super realistic and very hyper stylized. And he's carrying two guns in one hand, which I think is probably a bit overkill for even John Wick. You can see how Seedream actually has been trained on a lot of actual IP out there. If we go to the Grok Imagine one, you can see there that it's not very dynamic or action-packed. It hasn't really done a great job of that, and it's not even on the Dutch angle. So each model has its own strengths and weaknesses. I actually find that Nano Banana Pro and Nano Banana 2 are really great if you're doing original characters and stories. If you're doing something that's in the style of an existing IP, then you will want to use Seedream 4.5 or Grok Imagine. And I'll go into more about the models a bit later on, but as a quick example of how things change depending on what model you have, if you go to Nano Banana 2, you get this option for Google search grounding. Now this is the feature where if it's toggled on, it will also search the internet to help with generating your image. Very useful if you're generating an image set in a specific location. You can actually say, for example, in this prompt, we could maybe say, the character is in Times Square, and put Google search grounding on. It will look at images on the internet of Times Square to help in generating your image. And so it's actually quite a clever way to get more reference images in there and ones that are realistic. But it can also be used for sort of live data. So if we want it to reflect the weather in a certain location, you can ask it to do that in your prompt. Now let's go back to our Nano Banana Pro image, because I think that I really liked that one a lot. With that loaded, what we can actually do is we can now queue scene, and that is going to create 4 random angles. So let's just select that. We'll go with Nano Banana Pro again, and let's generate those images. And you can see we've got our generations, and you've got him opening fire on somebody in this one. You've got the prompt that made it happen. You close that though so you can get a good view of it. We've got this close-up of him, and it definitely feels like it's an 85mm lens, where you've got that really nice shallow depth of field, but that sharpness on his face and his hand. Another action shot here. Not sure who he's shooting at, but he's definitely blasting away at somebody here. You see that the shots have changed slightly for each one. And you could just go ahead and queue another 4 and randomly try out again. Now before we go to video at number 6, there's a couple of other features here. So I'm going to use another example now just to show you how you can reuse your renders for editing and for style reference, and also how to use this number 5 element tool. So let's say we want to change something with the image there. We can do that too. If we click this button here, reuse as a reference, it sends it down to global reference. You've got two modes, generate and edit. Edit will make changes to that image. Generate will use this as a style reference instead. So we're going to use edit. I'm going to click here to go into the image edit mode. We can crop the image. So let's say we want to do 9:16. Or maybe we don't, maybe we want to do, what we do want is want this to be green. So let's go to brush, increase the size a bit, choose that opacity, we'll click save. And then what we'll do is in our prompt, because we're editing the original image, we don't need to have all of the prompt in there. We will just tell it what we want to change. Make the harness that is highlighted in red a bright green color. And we probably want to give it instructions, don't change anything else. And we've got our result. You can see it has followed the prompt correctly, and the harness is now a green color instead. The other option that we actually have down here in edit mode is that we can use generate instead. Now what this does is it allows you to actually change elements of the image but with the context of your original prompt. So let's take this image, we're just going to click it and we can just drag it down and drop it into the global reference box. If we now select generate mode and then turn on narrative angle prompting, which adds a prompt helper to the prompt that encourages the AI to think about what the camera will now see in the new angle, we can go up here. We can change the camera angle, make sure that it's got the same environment prompted and the same lighting setup as the previous version of the image. And the prompt we've got now is the man with the gun rests against the pillar center frame, dust and debris kicked into the air as the enemy opens fire on him. And you can see that the difference between using generate and edit is that generate keeps the prompt elements you've chosen here, whereas edit will remove those because it's assuming you're just changing the existing image, not using it as a reference. Now if I scroll down, you can see we've got a new image and it's the same environment, same lighting, but you've got very different framing of the scene with very different actions. Now we could actually take this a step further and we can reuse this image too. Now, as you can see, having dropped the image back into here, it's reset the choice back to edit mode by default. So just keep that in mind. So we'll switch it back to generate again. Make sure narrative angle prompting is still switched on. And one thing I'll say as a tip is that you can use global reference and also still use character reference as well. So if I had this guy as my character, I could load him in here. That would make sure that he's consistent every time we change angle and every time we do a zoom in or a zoom out. It's not going to be relying on this image to decide how the character looks. So let's choose our shot type. We're going to go with a tight headshot and we'll leave it from the front. And we could change the lens right now as well. So we probably want an 85mm portrait lens, and let's cue that image. We go down again, we've got the result. Check that out, how cool is this? Although anybody who knows anything about bullets and guns will probably tell me that this is not realistic. And if you look closely, you'll see the reason for that is the bullets still are in their casings. And yeah, well, it's AI at the end of the day, but I've seen movies make similar mistakes. But in terms of framing and image, it looks great. He is looking at the lens though, which kind of sucks. What can we do? Well, maybe we'll just reuse this image. For this one, I think it would be probably appropriate to use the edit mode rather than generate, because we're not actually changing the camera angle. We just want to change it so the man is looking off screen. So we could just go here and prompt, the man is looking off screen to the right side of frame. And then we cue that and see how it works. And we've got the result. And as you can see, that it's actually listened to what I've said. He's looking off screen and everything else has remained pretty much the same. So that's the way you can use actual edit and generate tools, which I think are really fantastic tools in this app. Just bear in mind that it does default back to edit when you change the image in that box. And also remember that these things need to be turned off afterwards. So I'm going to toggle off narrative angle prompting and I'm going to remove the reference picture before I create my next prompt, because otherwise it will actually just regenerate using this picture in this space. I'm going to now show you the Elements tool. So let's take a very simple prompt. A group of friends are taking a photo together and having fun in a photo booth. Under environment, a white background. But we want to control who those friends are in here. So this is where we can go down to the Element tool. Here we can upload images to use as a reference. So we're going to click here. At the moment it's set to single or stitch. We're going to choose here to bring in the face of the character. We also want an outfit for her, so we're going to choose an outfit and bring that in as well. We could add an object or a scene as well, but we're not going to do that, but we will add another character. We can do the same again here, so now we can just choose the next character that we want in our scene. With just one image of the face, it's not maybe enough to get a very consistent look. So we can actually stitch images together. So if we hit stitch, click there to load them, we can actually put in multiple images. That's up to 4 images. So now if I open those, they're stitched together in one input. The same can be done for outfits and for objects and for the scene as well. The other thing that's pretty cool is that you can save this character as well. So click library and just give the character a name here. Click save and you'll have a character you can load anytime you want. Go character 2, let's go library and load Sue. And let's go to the next character and we will go to library and add in the lady from the intro video that you saw last week. So we're going to change our prompt. A group of friends are taking a photo together and having fun in the photo booth. At character 1 is pulling a cute kawaii face. And character 2 is hugging character 3. Now, when you've got multiple characters, as in more than 2 characters, sometimes it helps to actually describe the character as well. So I would say character 1 with the ponytail and character 2 with the blonde hair is hugging at character 3. And we've got our result. Look at that. Now I'm going to show you how you can use additional images. Say for example you want to create something that isn't a character. Maybe it's an environment or a vehicle or something else. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. First, let's create a new project. So we have a fresh start. We'll just give it a name and press create. We've got a fresh clean slate to begin with. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to the element tool, and just under all of this we can add in additional reference images. You can actually put in 14 in total. You can put in additional images and characters, but what will happen is that the models will cut you off at 14 images. So it will prioritize characters over additional references, and it does that so that the important part of the image is always the one that gets sent to the model. So just keep that in mind. If you've got a character in here, or 2 or 3 or 4 characters, it will reduce the amount of additional images you can add in. But let's just say that we want to just create a car right now. Well, here we can add in reference images. So we click add, and let's just add a good few different images. And all we do is we go and upload them. And so I just got these images off the internet of a Porsche, so we're just going to grab those. Okay, and we've got our last image going in there then now. And you'll see there that it has counted 9 active images. So we have got 5 more images that we could put in. So if we wanted a character, we could do 1, or maybe we could do a few characters if we just used their faces, for example. But you do know how many you've got left. And this is all our car images. So then what we can do is just go up here. We're going to put in our prompt. The Porsche shown in, and I'm going to do at, and then we can choose image 1, but it's all of the images. So we'll just go to, and then at, and choose the last one at image 9. In an underpass during a heavy rainstorm. Now we'll choose our angle. We're going to go with a Dutch angle. I do like the Dutch angle. And we could give it the environment, but I'm not going to mess too much with the prompt. Let's just go with this. Now, I could just cue this, but I actually think that we've got some really good presets that might be really appropriate for a car image. So I'm going to go down to the Style and Aesthetics section, and under Photographer Styles, I'm going to go with 7th Era. And while it's doing that, let's grab a different type because we've got it queued. So let's queue another one. Let's go with North Borders. I will queue that one. We've already got our image actually come through for the one in 7th Era style. Check out that. That is a cool image. It looks like the Porsche. In fact, if you look here, you can see it's even got the stickers on the back window. Here we go. This is in the style of North Borders. Look at that. The stickers, the wheels. It looks very, very consistent. So this is perfect. Say you have a client who's a car collector or just loves their car and wants cool images of it. You can use their photos of their car to put it into incredible scenes with amazing lighting. And we've got our result, and you can see that that looks really great. We've got the stickers on the back there, and you've got the same design, and it just looks super cinematic. Now you can queue a scene, but one thing I'll point out is that when you send the image for a queue, what it does is it's actually sending this image to generate the other images from it. You may not get the same quality and coherence by using that queue scene button with this render. And you'll see here, actually, an example of that is it's added stickers where there are no stickers in the original car. With characters, it sends the characters additional images. It won't do it because it will be too many. You've got 4 generations going on in tandem, and it tends to reject those. So that's why I've limited it to only having characters be sent along with the queue scene button. So for images like this, you're going to want to do the same thing that we did with the reuse and generate button. So we just click that. So what you'll do is you'll come down here. You've got that now in the reference image. Remember, by default, it will be in edit, so it won't do what you want it to do. So come down here, click it to generate mode, toggle on narrative angle prompting. We'll leave the prompt as it is, and we'll just change the angle to a high angle shot, and the viewing direction, let's just choose from the back, for example. And then we will queue that image. If we scroll down, you'll see there you've got the car. It now keeps in line with what you have in the real thing. If we bring in our image, we can see that it has actually done a pretty good job of copying that car, and that was using Nano Banana 2. In fact, in this image, you can really see how well it's done. This is the original. You see there the light, side light, the fuel cap, stickers. We've got all of that detail in here, even the number plate. So it's really done a great job of copying that. If you already know you want a focused desktop studio for your AI image and video generations, the link is down below in the description and in the pinned comment to my Gumroad page, where you can go ahead and download RenderZero Studio. Alright, so that is the deep dive full walkthrough of the image generation part of this app. But there's a lot more, of course, because you can create videos. So please make sure that you check out that video next, all about how to create your AI videos in this app. Yes, it will probably be very long too, but it's worth it because there's a lot of tools in there. I'm going to show you how to use Kling 3.0 with elements, how to do video-to-video reference. It's the biggest, most comprehensive tutorial probably out there for any kind of AI app, just like this one. So thanks for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested in the app, the link is in the pinned comment down below.